But look, man, we talked about Terry McLaurin. I mean, trade requests, a lot of hostility going on in our organization. But some people's seats are burning this upcoming season. We got some head coaches that's got some burning hot seats. And AJ, I'm curious because I hope we not agreeance in this situation.
I
And now,
doubt it.
you doubt it? Okay,
I
cool.
doubt it.
So we're gonna kick it to you first. AJ, give us which coach going into this season is on the hottest seat has a chance of losing their job if they don't perform.
Well, I think it's a few that's on hot seats. That's for sure. I think I'm gonna go left with this. I don't think you expected me to say the name I'm gonna say, because I'm going way left to talk about a team that we never talk about.
Oh man.
Uh, I'm going with Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going with Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis Colts. Mike Tomlin is another name that comes to mind. I'm not gonna lie, but I think the Steelers left him so much. If I'm not mistaken, he just signed an extension. I believe. If I could be wrong in that, but that's a conversation for another day. The reason why I say Shane Steichen, bro, is when he came to the Colts, there was all this talk about what he could do as almost like a quarterback whisperer or a quarterback guru, because of what he did with Jalen Hurts. That was the talk. Man, you see what he did with Hurts? If you could do that with Hurts, you could do that with anybody. That's how they talk about my dog. But I'm gonna let that be what it's gonna be, right? Let it be what it's gonna be. And he did that with Hurts. Now he going over there. He drafted Anthony Richardson. Normally, a head coach, when you come into a new team, into a new system, and you got that high draft pick, normally your name is attached to that pick, especially that pick of quarterback. Your name normally attached to them, especially if you're like an offensive coach or quarterback coach type of guy. Like, this is the guy you're hitching your wagon to. This guy, Anthony Richardson, from what we've seen so far, he ain't it. His production don't match. His it factor don't match. I mean, he tapping out of games talking about he tired and things of that nature. We have not seen him develop at all as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Now, I know he has dealt with a lot of injuries. In my personal opinion, one thing I couldn't stand about Shane Steichen when he was an offensive coordinator for the Eagles is at times I feel like he put Jalen Hurts in horrible situations. He was a great coordinator. I'm not going to lie, he was a great coordinator. I still honestly believe he's probably the best overall coordinator on the offensive side of the ball that we've had, even better than Kellen Moore in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he's nice, but
Yes.
you know, at the same time, I remember certain games like, why Hurts running the ball 17 times today? Why are we running all these quarterback draws? Why we like, yo, some of these games, man, just hand the ball off to your running back. You got Hurts running through the line like he Derrick Henry or something. It just don't make sense. And of course, he got knocked out of that. He got messed up his collarbone or like the shoulder thing when he played the Bears, and that kind of derailed him potentially winning MVP, in my opinion. But I noticed him doing a lot of the same stuff with Anthony Richardson. Like early on, rookie year, putting him in situations where like, yo, he getting his head knocked off. At some point, you can't keep running the same draws. You can't keep running the same read option plays, bro. It's not working. They killing your quarterback, bro. You got to switch it up. So I look at that. I look at the fact that they're 17-17 since he's been the head coach of the Colts. He has not lived up to the hype that they have wanted him to live up to. He has not lived up to his name. And so I think going into this season, now you go and get Danny Dimes, Danny Nichols, Danny Pennies. And like from what I've heard for a while, it was him and Anthony Richardson was kind of going back and forth. You can't rock out there with Daniel Jones as your starting quarterback. Like, I just think that the Colts, especially too, we know Jim Irsay, passed away a while ago. So you got kind of new ownership. I think they passed it down to like a family, down to like his daughters, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe sisters. Yeah, daughters. And so they might feel a little differently about you if you continue at this pace, opposed to maybe Jim might have been a little bit more like, okay, this is the guy I brought in. This is who I wanted. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at it from the small sample size of just looking at how he operates with Anthony Richardson, a guy that he wanted to draft, a guy that he wanted to play quarterback, the guy that was supposed to be Jalen Hurts with more skill, is what they were saying. He's going to be this guy. He got the arm talent and he got the speed and all of that. He not living up to expectations and things of that nature. And I'm looking at you, 17-17, now bringing in a guy like Daniel Jones. At some point, at what point are you going to go in another direction? I think if they don't have a solid season this year, I think they're going in another direction. And the last thing I want to say, bro, is like, them being 17-17, bro, it's not like their division is tough. Like, they got the Texans, they've been like 10-6, 11-6. Okay. You got the Jags, who's been for the last probably 5 straight years. You got the Titans. Like, it's not like you playing in an extremely tough division where it's like you gotta worry about the Chiefs, or you gotta worry about the Ravens, or you gotta worry about the Bills. No, you playing against teams in your division that's like, I mean, you supposed to easily be the number one seed if you a solid team in your division, and they struggling in the division. So I just think that he has not lived up to a lot of people's expectations, and I think that they move in another direction if it don't work out this year.
So the only reason I feel like he is on the hot seat is because of the new ownership. That's the only reason for me, because I feel like he's overachieved with his situation. When you look at Anthony Richardson, he is not ready. That was ownership's call to draft him, not Steichen. So
Steichen wanted him too.
agrees with the ownership though. I think no. Let me say this: ownership wanted him to play now. That's what happened.
Okay.
That's what happened. Because
Okay,
Steichen one I pulled it with that, like last year he benched what's the name of Joe Flacco. So I'm gonna say that because he's a project quarterback. He only played what like 14, 15 games, something like that in college. So he barely played in college. And I had to disagree with you with Steichen put him in bad situations. All of his injuries was his fault. All of them. The man don't know how to get down. He dipped his shoulder every single time. And I think every time he got hurt, it was a scramble drill. It wasn't a design run. It was him rushing the ball because he didn't want to throw the ball. The last time he got hurt, he ran full speed at somebody in the end zone. He could have ran out of bounds.
I do remember that. That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
He's reckless. He's super reckless. He's not accurate. He got
But see, not to cut you off. This is what they bring, bro. This is what they bring you in for as an offensive guy and as a guy that's good with quarterbacks. They bring you in to teach you, yo, this is how you need to scramble and protect yourself. This is how you need to, like, they had to teach Hurts that. Like, yo, Hurts, you need to slide, bro. Like, you need to get down because you're getting hurt every year. Like, these are teachable things at the next level that he got to teach his quarterback. Like, if your quarterback, I understand, like, as a player, you're on the field, sometimes you just do stuff in the heat of the moment. But, like, as a coach, bro, it's also on you to teach your players how to protect themselves as well. Especially when that show, what was he drafted? Number 1, number 2?
I'm a fifth overall. I think.
Top 5 overall pick?
Top 5.
Like, you got to teach the man how to protect himself. But my bad. Go ahead. Continue.
No, I'm with you on that. And, like, when I look at, cause think about it, they went 9-8 his first year there with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew was a quarterback for most of the year. I think Rich only played 4 games, and Gardner Minshew really got them. Like, you watched that last game against the Texans, they were on a run to go score, and the running back dropped a wide open flat pass to get a first down on 4th down. He dropped it wide open, and had nothing to do with the coach. So in year 2, Richardson once again gets hurt. Joe Flacco comes in and they go 8-9. Like they not, that team not supposed to be 8-9, like, or 9-8 with Gardner Minshew. So the only reason why I feel like he's in the hot seat is because of the ownership. A lot of ownership is like, you know what, we're gonna just get rid of everything. Let's start over, let's start fresh. So that's what I think. But here's my guy, and Tom will say in the comments, Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel is on a hot seat right now. Mike McDaniel. The boy genius. He comes in and starts off well. Started off 8-3. I don't know if you remember. They came in. They beat Baltimore week 1. Baltimore's up by like 28, and then they came back and won with like 500 passing yards in week 1. Some craziness. Then they beat the Bills and Buffalo, and they started off 8-3. Tua gets hurt. They lose 3 in a row. Then they win 5 games in a row. Lose the last game of the season. Tua gets hurt again. And they lose to the Bills by 3 in the playoffs with Skylar Thompson. So, like, we like, oh, the Dolphins coming. The Dolphins coming next year. If Tua, we kept saying, if Tua stays healthy, the Dolphins are coming. What happens next year? Tua healthy the whole year. I mean, Tubby Tua, right? He was healthy the whole year, AJ. And what happened? Against losing teams, they were 10-1. Against winning teams, they were 1-5. And guess what that one winning team they beat? The Cowboys. I'm sorry, Tom. But yeah,
Dang.
1-5 against winning teams. They beat the Broncos 70-20, but then lost to the Ravens 56-13. Like, come on, bro. that right. Those two games tell you about them. When they play somebody bad, they run. They look dominant. But when they play a good team, they get dominated. And what happened in the playoffs? They lost to the Bills. They got whooped basically. And then last year, same situation. Tua gets hurt, up and down year. They lose in the play. Well, not last year. The year after that, they losing in the playoffs to the Chiefs. All right. So I think Mike McDaniel was in the hot seat. With Tua, they're 20-13. But without, yeah, with Tua, they're 20-13. Without Tua, they 1-5. So you're talking about attached to a quarterback. Mike McDaniels is definitely attached to Tua Tagovailoa. He vouched for Tua. He wanted Tua to stay. He wanted them to extend Tua, but Tua can't stay on the field. Tua had 3 concussions. I mean, we talking about concussions that they actually documented it in the last 3 years, and I think he had like 5. Because I remember we played the Packers and he had a concussion. I'm sorry, he threw 2 picks right after that, and now I couldn't recognize him after that. Yeah. He had a couple of concussions that were not documented. So he had 3 concussions documented last 3 years. Jalen Ramsey, he comes there as a vet. Y'all get into a bad relationship, and y'all had to trade him away. Now you got this whole Tyreek Hill situation. Him and Mike McDaniel bumping heads a lot now. He's saying he out. The locker room is getting a lot of funky in there. So, like J-Mo said on the R2L show, this is kind of like a make or break year for this core because they are known as just a finesse type team that can't get gritty in the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game since 2000, I think. Since they had what's that dude name? Ronnie Brown. Last time they won a playoff game. So I think Mike McDaniel's got the hottest seat this year.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Like I said, he was another name I thought of, but Shane stuck out to me because like he might have wanted him and thought it was a project, right? And thought, okay, maybe he's not ready. But you wanted to draft him. You was heavily involved in picking him. So when Carl said stuff like, I mean, who's to say they told him and he not listening? Again, who made the decision to draft him? Who was in the ear of the owner to be like, yo, I could work with him though. I see the traits. I can work with this. I could do some things with this, right? That falls. The owner ain't gonna fire himself, right? It's gonna fall on the head coach. Like, yo, you were saying that this is the decision that we should go in. You were saying that you could work with this guy. You were saying you got this experience. You just came off a Super Bowl run. This is what I'm rocking with. And so when it don't work out, and now you bringing in Daniel Jones of all quarterbacks, and we know that don't work out. Now you just stuck. Now I was just like, are you keeping him? And you gonna reach on another quarterback potentially in the first 10 picks of an NFL draft and hope you hit on that one? Like, I just think it's a tough look. And I think if he had more head coaching experience under his belt, more pedigree under his belt, he would get a longer leash, I would say. But with this, if I'm not mistaken, being his first head coaching job, I feel like that it ain't going to be as long as what people think. Like I said, I think if it mark my words, bro, if it don't work out for him this year, we might see Mike McDaniel out of there too if it don't work out, probably. But Shane Steichen going to be right there with him. They both going to be looking for jobs. I'm trying to tell you. Because they ain't going to take that accountability for that. It's going to be like, we brought bro in here thinking he was finna be the quarterback whisperer and the offensive guru. And like, it's been pretty much the same. We still the same team. And in a division that's really not that competitive. Like,
I'm with you, though.
Just, that's how I'm looking at it.
Especially with the new ownership, I think that's the key thing with Steichen situation is new ownership. So like, the leash is even like you say he on a short leash. It's even shorter now with the ownership. Like so. But if they fire him, I think that's a mistake. See, Mike McDaniel
I not to interrupt you, but I like Shane, so I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. I still think though that
he will get fired. Yeah. But Mike McDaniel, I think him getting fired will help him because he clearly has, like, I'm not gonna say just leadership. Like, he don't have a post in the locker room. He don't have that right now, and they probably don't take him seriously, bro. This is how he be acting. I remember Ramsey's like he weird. When he first got here, he's like, he's weird. I was like,
right, yeah.
So
and real quick before we move on, Carl, I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. All I'm saying is, if you are in the room before he's drafted and you know he's a project, you know he's not the most accurate, you know he could be he was reckless in college. He was reckless in college. So you knew this before you drafted him. And you still went to ownership, GM, and said, I can work with him though. I can teach him what he needs to know. I can teach him the ways and this and that, and he can become this whatever. Look at what I did in this situation. Look at my history. And you pitch that, you then can't come back later and say, well, he not listening to me. Well, you told us that you could make him listen. You told us that you would be able to get him to refine his game and be better, and he ain't better. So this is going to fall on you more than it falls on anyone else. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm with you on that one.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.